Hey there, guys. Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. This is it. Don't get scared now. Speaking of getting scared, I may or may not have the C word that I don't know if we can say on YouTube for some odd political reason. But either way, I'm feeling a little bit achy. I had a buddy who had it. I hung out with him the other day. So I'm hoping somehow magically I did not get it, but I feel achy and a little bit run down today. But the thing keeping me going, besides you beautiful people, is these wild berry Skittles. That's right. If you want the cure for COVID, it's wild berry Skittles. I'm not a doctor. I'm a singer and a dancer. Actually, I'm none of those things. I'm a mathematician. That's not true either. But what I am is a guy who makes YouTube videos. And so these will cure anything. But I don't really stand by that, so don't sue me if you think they do. But they're delicious, I'll tell you that. They're pretty good. And with all that said, I'm going to open up this Diet Dr. Pepper here because it's looking so delicious, and that's what I need right now. The only doctor I need is Dr. Pepper. I must have drank myself about 14 Dr. Peppers. So yes, the reason I'm doing a live show tonight is just in case things go downhill. Because last time this happened to me, about 2 years ago, I was out of commission for 2 weeks. I was laying in the bed, contemplating my life, laying there, miserable, covered in my own sweat and vomit for 2 weeks, and I couldn't even think about making a video. So, just in case, this is like the last hoorah until the next one. And also, one quick update before we dive into the questions, and thank you guys so much for joining me. We already got a few questions in here. We're going to get to them. Don't worry. We're going to get to them all. I just put up a brand new movie review for Cocaine Bear. The title says everything you need to know about the movie, but if you want to hear everything I have to say about the movie, go over to the Flickpick channel, check it out. Just put up the review maybe 20 minutes ago, and now we're here doing a live show. So yeah, it's been a long night, but hey, you got to make it happen. This is how I work. I got to get everything done at once. All right. Last week we missed a question right at the end of the live show, and Joey Ruiz asks, "How did you like Matrix Resurrections?" Well, Joey, I didn't. I didn't. All right. The next one comes from Matthew Castellanos. Most anticipated films for the rest of the year. Mine are Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm looking forward to it. I like the second one, but upon rewatch, I like it less and less every time. Though I do like Yondu quite a bit in that film. I think he steals the entire movie. Hey, y'all, I'm Mary Poppins. Great stuff. Indy 5. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Indy 5, though I think it's going to be a good movie. Will it be the movie we want it to be is the question, right? It's clearly, easily, most definitely, at least I hope, or else why the hell did they make it and give it a $250 million budget? It's got to be better than Kingdom of the Crystal Shit Skull. It's got to be better, right? It has to be. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Really hoping they do something with the plot that feels new and fresh slightly. And then you have Elemental Dune. Does Dune 2 come out this year? Wow, I forgot. If Dune's coming out this year, I forgot it did. Then you have Flash. Flash to me looks like an enjoyable, disposable comic book movie. And the thing is, I'm curious to see how it does end. It's like, are they going to utilize that film? Did they go back in and do some reshots and re-edits to capitalize on James Gunn taking over in the DC? It's not the DCEU. It's the DCU now. DC, who gives a shit? Whatever. I wonder if they truly are going to reset the universe at the end of that movie and just basically snap their finger, a big white bang happens, and then everything's different, and we go to another universe somewhere else. They have to clean up the mess that they previously made somehow, some way, and I'm curious to see how they do that. But hey, Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, baby. Give it to me now. Take me back to 1989 where everything was just beautiful and every movie I watched was on a shitty VCR with tracking issues, where one day my copy of Batman 1989, I'm not kidding, this is a true story, got stuck in our VHS player. I took a pencil, jammed it in there, wiggled around because I'm a 4-year-old kid. I'm not a VCR tech. I don't know what I'm doing. I jammed it in there, broke the pencil off. My dad was pretty pissed at me. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that as well, man. And then last but certainly I don't know if it's going to be least. Maybe it is. You have the Ghostbusters sequel on there. And you listen, I like that it seems the story will take place back in the city again. And I don't want more farmhouse in the middle of nowhere in the country, Buster movies. That setting and location's sort of boring to me. But the thing is, like, now we're going to look at 15-year-old kids or 16-year-old kids, and I get it. I think there's a movie to be made there, and a fun movie, but it's not the one here's the issue with it. It's set in modern day. I don't like that. You know, it needs to, if they would have made that set in the, like, I don't know, even the early 90s or mid 90s, and I get why they couldn't if they wanted to keep up with the original movies, but something about modern day movies with kids running around trying to fight ghosts, I can't even like get into that. There's nothing there for me to grasp onto. If it was set in like 1992, I'd be like, oh, that was plausible back in 1992. I'm sure some kids could have run around and fight ghosts, you know, and shit like that. That seems realistic to me. But for some odd reason in 2023, it doesn't seem feasible. Not at all. All right, the next one comes from, you guys are killing it. Let me go quicker here. Chad Hagen. Villain/portrayal you would invite for dinner. Oh, Hannibal Lecter all day long. I'll let him cook dinner. I don't care what it is. If it's brain matter, I'll eat it. As long as I have a civilized, highbrow conversation with Hannibal Lecter, and then I want him to psychoanalyze me and tell me everything wrong with me. That would be great. As we eat, I don't know, Ray Liotta's brain. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie Hannibal. With his passing, that seemed like a really crude, untimely joke. Thinking about it now. But in fact, Ray Liotta's brain does get eaten in the movie Hannibal. So go please watch that. If I couldn't have Hannibal Lecter over for dinner, I'd probably have Darth Vader for dinner, except the only thing he could probably eat is like regurgitated baby food through a syringe. Isn't that how Darth Vader eats? What does Darth Vader eat? He gets injected with like baby food, doesn't he? Either way, I'd have him over for dinner. I'd like to hear about his life story, even though I've seen it. I would like to hear it from him. All right, the next one comes from Matthew Castellanos. Enjoying The Last of Us. Yes, indeed, I am, man. I am. Every episode's slightly getting better. And I liked the backstory on the newest episode with Ellie. I thought that was much needed. And I can already see where they cut off on that episode, where they're going to do another flashback in an episode or two where they show the outcome of what happened in that sequence, which I'm looking forward to. And I liked I'm not going to spoil anything. I think once the series finale does air, I probably will do a review for the series. Because there's a lot of things I do want to say about it. And I liked the location. Once again, no spoilers. This is like a generalized coverage of it. But anytime you have a post-apocalyptic mall that's a little bit retro, where it has like an arcade, I love it. You sold me, right? You're giving me all these little things I want, and it did it. It kind of reminded me of Dawn of the Dead a little bit, and that's fine by me. It was definitely a callback of sorts, but yeah, it was a great location, good backstory, and I think one of the better episodes so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I was going to ask you guys a question, but once again, I don't want to spoil anything. There's a character preference that Ellie has a preference. Was that in the games? Her preference? I'm just curious. I don't know. I didn't know if that was like a 2023 thing or if that was actually from the games. But I know in the games that was some like DLC content you could get at some point. Mauricio Silva, how's it going, man? Hey, John, how's it going? One of my most anticipated movies of this year is The Killer by David Fincher. Are you excited for this one? Absolutely. Pump it into my veins right now. I need it. I want it. I breathe it. I'll drink it right now if you put it into a cup and blend it up. Why do I have to consume it? I don't know why. Yeah, so Fincher can do no wrong, in my opinion. Well, I mean, since like Alien 3, he can do no wrong. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Anytime a Fincher movie's coming out, I know I'm probably most likely going to enjoy it, except for his last film. What was it, Mank or whatever it was? That wasn't quite what I was looking for, but hopefully this one is. And I've actively tried to avoid most things about the movie until I'm sure I'm bombarded with a trailer at some point. The next one comes from Carter Lovejoy. How's it going, Carter? Carter sends me a Snapchat. And I do occasionally, I don't really use Snapchat, but I look at it occasionally. Carter will send me a message every other day and ask me, John, live stream tonight, ? And tonight's the night, Carter. Tonight's the night. All right, here we go. Did you hear about the new movie Champions starring Woody Harrelson? Speaking of which, thoughts on White Men Can't Jump? I love me some White Men Can't Jump. And they're making a new one, which looks like a very watered-down, bastardized version of the good one that we got in the 90s with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. And what's the lady's name? Rosie Perez, right? Billy! Billy, what you doing? I love it. I loved White Men Can't Jump. I remember seeing that. I don't know if I'm making this up, but I vaguely remember seeing that as a stupid little kid in the drive-in with my family. That could be a made-up memory, but I feel like that's where I watched that movie for the first time. And there's something nostalgic but so well made about that movie, and there's a great like message, to society in that movie if you look at it deeper, right? But I always liked it. I always did. And it is in fact true. White men cannot jump. I will tell you that. In Holmes 25 says, John, sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider in your 2015 macho voice. The Itsy Bitsy Spider. I don't know. Is that how I used to talk? Hey there, guys. It's easier for me to talk like that. It really is. If I don't do that, or the reason I did that was it was just fun to do, and I liked the presentation. And the weird thing is, in that time period when I was all buff, jacked up, bloated looking, and doing my macho voice from 2015, I had the most growth I've ever had on YouTube. So there's something to be said there. People like characters. I'm just putting it out there. Taylor Boozer says, nothing, but thank you for the super chat, Taylor. I don't know if you forgot to type a question, but thank you nevertheless. If you want to type your question over here in the normal chat, I'll try to find it. Yeah, we have 162 people here, but I think the reason is I did this on the fly tonight. I did not post this on Twitter. I did not post this on Facebook. I didn't post this anywhere else. And I gave about 3 minutes of leeway time before I started it. Usually I put it on like 15, 20 minutes beforehand. I started it at the last second tonight because I really did get done shooting my Cocaine Bear review. I edited the video as quickly as I possibly could, and then I posted it, and then I basically did a backflip and ran in here and did this. Just spur of the moment stuff, because I do feel like I'm going to be dead by tomorrow, so I'm trying to get my last live stream out. So that's what I'm doing here. It's okay. It's 171 people now. You just give it time. More people come in as it goes. The weird thing is with live shows, I've noticed the later I do them, the more viewers I get. So I like to believe I have more loyal viewers that live in other time zones besides like East Coast. That would be my theory, at least. I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I forgot. Okay. Raymond 6000 says, in your mind, what would it take to bring the DCEU to the mainstream, or how could it keep the fans from being burnt out of superhero movies? Just make good fucking movies. Like, right? Don't make these watered down, cliche, been there 8,000 times, but now this version is less than all those previous versions that are better. Stop making those types of movies. Stop making movies like Morbius. Stop making movies like Ant-Man Quantumania, okay, right? There's nothing wrong with having tones and jokes and things that relate to a younger audience. Absolutely not. But the best kind of comic book movie relates to all audiences, right? So I think there's a fine balance to be said or be had. And I don't feel like right now studios are finding that balance. It feels like right now we're just racing to get out the quantity and sort of forgetting the quality over here. And I'm hoping going forward that they find the quality. And I'm hoping with the new DC universe of things, James Gunn takes a step back and says, okay, here's what we're doing wrong. And it seems like from everything I've heard him say in every statement he's given, that he wants to allow the filmmakers and directors of all these upcoming DC movies to have their own style, to present their own vision. And I think that's what we need more now than ever before. You know, the thing is, these studios have gotten so out of hand with their interference and their executives and these non-creative people trying to make creative decisions who have no business doing so, but they have to justify their purpose and title and their high salaries. And they try to put their grubby little greasy hands all over art. And they smudge it and smear it and try to cater to every single demographic. And it waters down and just destroys what could be. And I think James Gunn is a guy who has went through the ringer in Hollywood, right? He's been canceled. You remember that? Remember that shit? And then Disney hired him back. But either way, I feel like him being in charge, even though I'm not the hugest James Gunn fan when it comes to his films, I at least think he will allow creators to do what they do best, and that's create shit, right? So that's my hope. I think that's where the movies need to go. I think that's where Marvel needs to go. This standardized Marvel tone and look, it's done. I'm sorry, just in that shit. We're good. You did it for 15 years. Let's do something a little different now, right? Let's hold back on the Taika Waititi shitty humor, because it's gotten so overindulgent to the point where it's not funny anymore, and it feels like I'm watching an SNL skit starring with Thor in it rather than this epic Viking godlike movie. To me, those are the things that are just ruining comic book movies. That and Morbius. All right, let's go to the next one here. Your name here says, "Hi, John. Hope you recover well, brother. By the way, it's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because that's what it did to its viewers." Oh, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Fuck. Sorry. You had the little stars on there. Yeah, I remember seeing that in theaters with two of my friends, and I was it looked so artificial. Like, it just looked so digital and fake and artificial. And I know it's a movie, but something about that 2007 movie it felt sterile and glossy. Like it had been put through 18 filters, and each filter was called generic movie number 2. And by the 18th filter it went through, it was just like this amalgamation of like what Indiana Jones was and terrible ideas from George Lucas combined. Fuck. All right, let's go to the next one. As I take a drink of this Dr. Pepper, because this is the cure. So good. So good. You know what goes good with Dr. Pepper? Pizza. Reheated pizza from Pizza Hut and Dr. Pepper. That is the breakfast of champions. All right. And thank you. I haven't gotten completely ill yet. I feel it coming. So I'll take another test tomorrow. Usually, I remember last time it took about 3 solid days to kick in. So we'll see. Joel Daglish. Joel, I can't read your last name, but I'm just going to call you Joel. All right, here we go. What are your thoughts on the current WrestleMania 39 card? Well, WrestleMania 39 so far, it's sort of looking like you could have guessed this card 6 months ago. You have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. And like, I get it. That's the big match, and I can respect that. Nothing wrong with that. And then it's looking at like we're going to have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, which is that would be a great match if Sami Zayn wasn't as over as he is now, and to not put him in a title match with Roman Reigns or some triple threat. I think that's sort of a letdown. And the newest match announced. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, I'm a kind of a wrestling nerd. Like I suppress it. Like if I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If I wasn't talking about movies on YouTube, I would be reviewing weekly wrestling shows and pay-per-views. That's probably what I would be doing. And the other match that was just announced was Brock Lesnar versus Omos. And no, thank you. That seems like a match that should be on some B-rate pay-per-view in like the summer. That just doesn't feel WrestleMania quality or caliber to me. And speaking of Omos, who's this big, tall Nigerian guy who's like 7'4", fun story. We were coming back from Universal Studios, not last summer, but the summer before. And we were walking through the airport, and right in front of me was Omos, this wrestler. And Google him if you want to. He's a huge dude, ginormous. Looks even bigger in person than he does on TV. And he was right in front of me in the security checkpoint. And then I had to sort of follow him all the way to the gate for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I wanted to take a picture with him, and I probably should have. But he doesn't look like the most approachable guy in the airport. And I didn't want him to crush my skull. So, but yeah, fun story. I was right behind him, and he's legit like 7'4". All right. The next one, favorite wrestler of all time. I was a huge fan of Mankind back in the 90s and Stone Cold and The Rock. I really enjoyed Kane for a short period, and and I liked RVD in the early 2000s. He wasn't my favorite, but I just sort of liked his in-ring ability. Right now, my favorite wrestler, I don't know if I have one, to be honest with you. I liked, also Kurt Angle. Like, that dude could go in the ring. His moveset, his ability, his athleticism, one of my favorites as well. All right, let's stop talking about wrestling. Okay, I'm not a nerd. I don't like wrestling. Yes, I do. All right, the next one comes from your name here. Oh, sorry, already read that. Fire Knight. That's a cool name. Fire Knight says, "Hey, John, thoughts on Mindhunter Season 3? Well, I suppose that's not happening. I guess they all but confirmed it's not coming out at this point because Fincher took too long, and then Netflix said it cost too much money, and it makes me sad. That was the one show I felt like I needed Season 3 because it was getting into the good stuff, the BTK killer. And if you don't know anything about the BTK killer, that literally is the most gruesome serial killer, in my opinion, of all time. Some of the shit he did. And it was getting into that, and I was like, I needed to see that. I wanted that. And we're never going to get it. So that really disappointed me. And Netflix, if you're watching, which I know Netflix executives all watch my live streams every time, just make this shit. Come on. You look how much money you guys just shit out for terrible movies that people watch one time and never watch again. Come on, like The Gray Man. You spent $200 million on that. I think we can make Mindhunter Season 3. I think it's doable, right? All right, the next one comes from Tyler Boozer. I'm so tired of kids saving the day BS. Godzilla vs. Kong. Have you seen Hannibal TV series on Hulu? I have not. I tried to watch an episode or two, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't like Mads Mikkelsen as much as some people do. I don't like him. I don't buy him as Hannibal Lecter. I'm sorry. I just don't. He looks like the poor man's dumb version of Hannibal Lecter. He doesn't have the same elegance or believability that Anthony Hopkins brought to the character to me. So for me, anything other than that is less than, and I just can't get into it. I know. That's an unpopular opinion. I tried. I really did. Pick 2 actors for a new buddy cop movie. Go. 2 actors? Whew, shoot. I'm trying to pick 2 actors who haven't really played cops, but that's impossible because every actor in Hollywood has played a cop at some point. Let's go with Ryan Gosling, and let's go with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'll go with that. How's that? That seems like 2 guys who could hang out and be cops together, I guess. I know Gyllenhaal's played a cop like 7 times. I know. That sounds fun to me. I like that. I'm going to tell you, a weird thought I had the other day, and this is what you guys come here for, is these weird thoughts, right? I had a thought when I was playing Final Fight the other day. I forget the guy's name in Final Fight, the blonde guy who wears a white t-shirt. It's like Jake or something. I don't remember. Ryan Gosling would make a great version of that character from Final Fight. Just putting it out there. Like, he kind of looks the part. I could see that. Make a Final Fight movie. I want to see it. All right, the next one comes from Night King 01. How's it going, man? John just watched Riding with the Devil, a Western by Ang Lee. No one talks about it, and it has a stacked cast. Civil War Western, it's a good watch. What's it called? Riding with the Devil? Okay, I'll check into that, man. I'm always up for a good Western, but I can't recall anyone saying that. I really can't remember anyone talking about it. So you are correct. I'll look into this. What year did it come out? Itchy Elbow says, pitch the flick trip movie. It needs to happen. Pitch the flick trip movie? Yeah, one time, and I'll tell you this. I had an idea once, and one time a guy in LA who's a producer sort of brought me the idea. He didn't bring me the idea. He basically said, I'll back you or I'll help you get it made, but it seemed really sketchy. But I had an idea to do a flick trip documentary across America, right? So what does that consist of? Well, it consists of stopping at a whole bunch of cool movie filming locations, doing some cool interviews along the way, with maybe some other film enthusiasts, maybe like an actor or two. I'm sure I can't get anyone super A-list, but I could do an interview or two here and there, maybe some film director or creator or actor. And I wanted to do a flick trip across America. And I wanted to really showcase a few things. I wanted to showcase where we watch films and how we consume movies and people who collect movies. But along the way, I wanted to show some really cool filming locations as well. And my dream was to make this documentary. Maybe it's a mockumentary, documentary, either way. I wanted to make this, when I go from point A to point B, I wanted to do so in a DeLorean, Back to the Future replica DeLorean. And this guy in LA, he's like, you should do you should have fans fund it and do a GoFundMe or something. And I just didn't feel comfortable with that at the time. This was 5 years ago. And it's always sort of been on the back of my mind to make that a thing. I think it's a doable thing. I think it's something I would like to do. But I don't know. Tell me your guys. I want to know. Tell me your feedback. But yeah, that you just unlocked that memory. So I did think about something like that once. Initial Review says, hi, John. Did you get my email on a Clips channel? Did you get my email on a Clips channel? Maybe. If you sent me an email saying you want to take all my clips and make a channel out of it, thank you, but I don't know if I'm down for that. I'd rather just do that myself, right? Because that's a lot. I can't give away all my shit, man, Carter Lovejoy says, that would have been cool to see. Weinstein is in prison now. You missed the boat. I don't know what that's in reference to. You should do it. Yeah, maybe one day I can look into it. I don't need a ginormous budget, but it's definitely going to cost money. Hey, John, have you heard about the dinosaur movie called 65 starring Adam Driver? Of course I have. I've talked about it on social media a few times. It comes out in a few weeks. Looking forward to it. I've heard mixed things thus far, but listen, man, you put some dinosaurs into a movie with some futuristic technology. I don't know what the twist is going to be, but it looks like a good mindless time at the cinema. So I'm definitely going to check it out. I could see it as an HBO documentary, make it a miniseries. I think I'd just make it a feature-length movie, an hour and 30 minutes. No more, no less. All right, the next one comes from Bruce Cook. Hey, John, how's the new house? It's going well. You know, the thing is, this is a house from the early 70s, and it's been like redone and renovated and remodeled, but every week I find new issues, and some of them are bigger than others. So like they're expensive issues that are sort of a little bit stressful to deal with, but at some point I will have to deal with them. Like there's some water in issues that flood into the yard, and some structural things I got to look at fixing, but overall, it's not bad, you know. But once I get those sorted out, I think I will enjoy it much more. It's just every day I hyper focus on how to fix different issues around the house. So then I become I start researching them to no end, and I spend 5 days doing so to where I have to hyper focus on it, and I can't do anything else other than like figure out how to fix things that are broken. Like I can't go, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube video even though this thing's broken. No. I can't do that. No way. What's your favorite Scream sequel? I would be lying if I told you I had one. Do you know any casting agents? For films and TV series? No, not really. No. I've emailed maybe one or two of them, but I don't know any. Are you watching Last of Us? Yeah, we just talked about that like 10 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago. Yes, I am. On a weekly basis, religiously, I love that shit. And by the way, thanks to all 233 of you watching right now. Thanks, guys. How are you guys doing tonight? All right, let's keep going here. Let me turn my monitor. It feels a little. There we go. I was having trouble reading it. I'm an old man nowadays. Like my eyesight's not what it used to be. Nor are my reflexes. All right, the next one comes from Will H. John, sorry to hear you're not feeling well, man. How often do you curl up in the fetal position contemplating life? Every morning. I shit you not. Every morning. Every morning before I get up, I lay in the fetal position and I just think about all the overwhelming shit I have to do in life. And then I have to do it all just to die one day. And then you hope, by the point you become a senior citizen, you hope that you at least have your health to get up and use the toilet without having to use a diaper. Really, that's my goal. And then by the time we're all old, or at least by the time I'm old, like, what is the economy going to be? How much are things going to cost? How much is this Dr. Pepper going to cost? $83.92? I don't know, but it's kind of scary to me. And I don't know. I feel like right now, at the age of 35, I feel like I don't want things in society to progress any more than they are, because I'm already like scared and confused by technology. Like it terrifies me. Every day, like a new social media app comes out, and I'm like, how am I going to figure this shit out? So I'm good. But to answer your question, what was it? Oh yes, so yes, every day I get up in the fetal position and contemplate life, and a tear trickles down, and then I scream and I say, fuck it. And I get out of bed and I go out amongst the unwashed masses and I just do whatever it takes to survive. And that's what I'm doing. Mickey C says, who has been a member for 5 months. Thank you very much. And by the way, before I forget, we're recording a new podcast episode tomorrow night. I did put a post up on the YouTube community section on YouTube, on the channel. You go to the community tab, and I put one up on Patreon. If you guys follow me on either of those, submit your questions and topics for new Patreon and YouTube member podcasts. We'll talk about them in detail, and I'll post that shit in like a day or two. So go there and submit your questions. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, here we go. Mickey C says, hey, John. I finally watched Con Air the other day, loved it, and had to laugh whilst watching, thinking of your references through the years. Cheers. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I love Con Air. I could go watch Con Air right now. Cyrus the Virus to me is a very likable villain. Like, that's the best type of villain, is a villain that you sort of like. And Cyrus the Virus does just that, because he's superior than just human scum. He's like a smart man's villain. It's a great movie. It really is. Nicolas Cage, it's so unadulterated. And I wish we had action movies like that still and nowadays. as over the top and bombastic as it is, it's still very well made and crafted. Like, it's memorable as well. Like Steve Buscemi in that film. Oh, what a great character. He's got the whole world in his hand. I love it. But yeah, man, have you watched Roadhouse is my question to you. If you haven't watched Roadhouse, go watch it now. And then go watch Over the Top. Okay? Please. The next one comes from Cole DeBest 99. What's your thoughts on Andrew Tate? I thought he was an interesting dude. I mean, he sort of regurgitated the same shit, but his whole situation right now, if you look into it, it sort of feels like some people made accusations and they weren't quite true, but like he's dealing with them. The thing is, to take away from it is it's kind of terrifying that you can be canceled from every social media platform. And if you are, you're done. Like that's how much control society really has. Like if you push the boundaries a little too far and you start saying stuff people don't like, everyone will just cancel you. You're gone. You're done. There's nothing you can do to come back. There's no way you can get your voice out other than like starting your own website or something. Like, I don't know, but no one's going to go there and watch that shit, right? So, I mean, without TikTok and YouTube and like Twitter, like if you don't have those three outlets, it's kind of terrifying that there's such a monopoly put on those things to get your voice out, because without them, like, where else do you go nowadays? Like, it's kind of weird. There's only 4 big outlets to go through nowadays. So I think that's the most interesting thing about Andrew Tate is you can just get canceled for like saying stuff that's maybe slightly crude, but it wasn't like detrimental to me. I mean, maybe I'm the wrong demographic to be offended by it, but I wasn't offended by it, I guess. I don't know. My point is that there's far worse people on social media that still actively get praised every day. And that's terrifying to me. The next one comes from Mickey C. Has social media ruined American Psycho? Memes, man. I don't think it's ruined American Psycho. I think American Psycho was its own thing for many years, right? And then general audiences caught on to it and sort of saw the humor years afterwards, and I liked that. So, when I loved American Psycho, it was like its own entity. Like, you either liked it or you hated it, and most people didn't regard it as a funny film, but now the memes make it like out to be a hardcore comedy, which to me it kind of is in a way, but it's my favorite type of comedy, which is dark humor. And, chasing people down a hallway naked with a chainsaw and then biting hookers' ankles. I mean, that to me is comedic gold. Don't just look at it, eat it. God, that is a great line. Will H says, John, you should start night crawling like Lou Bloom as a late night side hustle. Dude, listen, if that was a monetizable thing that I could realistically do, I feel like I would be kind of good at it. I really do. And I think that's one of the many thousands of reasons I enjoy Nightcrawler is I relate to it in the sense that maybe I get like something like that would intrigue me. Like if I wasn't doing YouTube, that line of work would be interesting to me. Like I love moving and going and recording things and like, pushing the limits a little bit. Would I push the limits like Lou Bloom does? No, I'm not saying that, but like stressful situations and confrontation, those things don't bother me in life. Like for some odd reason, I sort of seek them out every once in a while. I need them. I need that spike of adrenaline, because if I don't get it often or every once in a while, I start becoming numb. And I don't like that. So anyway, I sound like a sociopath right now, but I'm just saying I like Nightcrawler. So in that line of work, I could see myself doing something like that. I don't think night crawling is quite like it is presented in Nightcrawler, but I know there's some independent journalists who do certain things like that. You'd be good at it. If you don't think so, it just might be that I have a higher opinion of you than you have of yourself. Well, I'll tell you something else. A friend is a gift you give yourself, and I thank you for that. The name of the company is Video Production News, a professional news gathering service. That is how it should be read, and that is how it should be said. The next question comes from Moby. John, why 3 ice cubes, no more, no less? Why not 2 or 4? Because 3 just sounds right, doesn't it? An odd number feels right to me. Now, do I put more ice cubes in my drinks? Yes. Do I put way more ice cubes than that in my iced coffees? Absolutely. But I like to just go with the saying. 3, no more, no less. And maybe you have larger ice cubes, so 3 would actually work for you. I don't, that's why. It came out of my mouth one day and I ran with it for 10 years. And here we are now. Cinema Massacre, how's it going? Is that a Street Fighter arcade behind you? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is. It is, in fact, a Street Fighter arcade behind me. It's the 35th anniversary of the Street Fighter arcade machine. And I was in there the last live stream. I didn't want to spoil it, but it's blurry back there in the background. So whatever. Spoilers for the upcoming Flick Trip video. But I do, in fact, get this bad boy. And but I do pick up some other really cool 4K movies along the way. So look out for the new Flick Trip video. It's currently being edited now. I have a sponsorship on the video, so I'm sort of like trying to work that out and get that approved, and then I can give you guys that video. So it's there. It's recorded. I think you might like it. I hope you like it. But yeah, in fact, it is a 35th anniversary Street Fighter arcade. Yep. It's cool shit. I like it. The next one comes from Film Punch. Do you ever get in the mood for an animated family films? Absolutely. Every once in a while I get in the mood for like a fun, lighthearted animated family film. Like, what are you referencing though? Are you talking about like Aladdin, Lion King, Disney, Pixar, Toy Story? What are we talking about? But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if that's Cinemassacre, Angry Video Game Nerd. Our channel has a very similar name, but either way, I'll take it, man. And by the way, big fan of Angry Video Game Nerd, man. I remember I had a fever once, maybe like 5 years ago, and I sort of never watched Cinemassacre's channel, and I kind of came across it one day. This is maybe like 2015, and I watched probably 80 of their videos, or his videos, of the Angry Video Game Nerd. And you know the weird thing is, I'm going to tell you this, great minds think alike. And I'm not saying my videos are as good as his videos are way better than my movie night videos, but I would like to say movie nights and Angry Video Game reviews, there's like a very slight similarity between those things. So anyway, that it was cool. Like, he was making the types of reviews I wanted to watch, and I dug them. So, but I don't know if that was the legit channel. Should be a check mark if it was. I don't know. The next one comes from Film Punch. Oh, already answered that. Bruce Cook says, Flick Trip to the nationwide Walmart tour. I'll tell you this, man. Walmart to me it just feels like they have the same stuff in stock on their shelves that they've had since 2012. I swear to you, like, it feels like everything in Walmart has been the same shit for the last decade. Like, you go to the cooking section, it's all the same shit that's always been there. You go to the medical section or the clothing section, or, I mean, I guess you could say the electronics is slightly different, but not really. Like, it's kind of like, here's like a slightly better TV than there was 10 years ago, and here's like the newer version of the Xbox, and here's the new movie, which, by the way, their selection dwindles every week by 25%. But it just feels like they've had the same stuff for 10 years. And I walk in there and I'm like, why am I in here? I don't like the way this place smells. The floors are always dirty, even though they're cleaning them. And I can't come here late at night like I used to before the world turned upside down in 2020. That was my favorite time to go to Walmart. Late at night, when the unwashed masses weren't in there and I could wander around doing whatever I wanted to do, screaming like a madman. And I miss those days. And now I have to go in there and leave by 11 o'clock at night. What is this? Communist China? No, thank you. Whatever happened to society? Do you remember a glorious time when we could just leave our houses and go to stores after midnight that were open 24 hours. If I wanted a frozen pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was craving it, I could go to Walmart and have a wide array of frozen pizzas to pick from. Now what do I have? Nothing. If I want food, I have to go to a local gas station or some dirty 24-hour diner that the guy picks his ass and serves me my food and I have to take it with a smile on my face because it's my only option. That's where we are as a society. Things have crumbled. Things are dwindling. We have less options than we've ever had before, and we gave up our freedom for safety. And damn it, I'm mad about it. I was gonna do an Alex Jones impression right there, but I don't think I have it in me. All right, let's keep going. All right, the next one comes from Mike Peter. John, what do you think about Warner Bros. Making more Lord of the Rings movies? All I can think is why. They'll never touch Peter Jackson's trilogy. Well, I would just like to say, what was that boring, glossy shit that they pooped out on Amazon Prime called Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, or whatever it was? I watched like one episode of that and I was like, this doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings. So if these new movies have any resemblance to that, no thank you. But if they are in fact going to be well made and cared for, and they're going to give them as much attention to detail and respect as they possibly can, then hey, I say go for it. Because if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, and I like Lord of the Rings, I'm not by far hardcore into the fandom. I like them, looking at them as like a piece of cinema. That's fine with me. Take us back to Middle Earth. Let's go back. Like, all right, maybe they're not as good as the Lord of the Rings original trilogy, but are they better than The Hobbit? Okay? Did you improve upon The Hobbit? Then fine. That's enough reason to go make something else. MM says, check out the Pawn Shop Chronicles. Brendan Fraser is an Elvis impersonator and Elijah Wood is a guy with a shipping container full of women. What is this? Okay, I don't know what that is, but now first you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. The White Skull says, about 5 years ago, I went to Walgreens after midnight. Yeah, occasionally you find a 24-hour Walgreens, but what are you going to buy in Walgreens? Diapers? No, it's not. No, I need 80,000 square feet of shopping possibilities where if I want to get on a small child's bicycle and ride it, I can do so. And I can't do that in Walgreens. So that's just not going to cut it. No, thank you. No. John, are you going to watch the Oscars? Truthfully speaking, no, probably not. I just don't care. I really don't. I might watch a clip or two on YouTube if anything outrageous happens or someone gets slapped, maybe something like that. I like to know who wins like best actor, best movie of the year, things like that. But other than that, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, does anyone really? I mean, outside of like 18 people, does anyone really care about the Oscars anymore? I don't know. The next one comes from Night King 01. Ride with the Devil. They spent $40 million on the film. Skeet Ulrich, Tobey Maguire, Jim Caviezel, then dumped it into limited release and only made $70,000? Oh, $700,000. So $40 million turned into $700,000. That doesn't make any sense. They should have sold that shit to Netflix. Yeah, I'll check it out, man. It sounds like a good cast. Ride with the Devil. Ride with the Devil. I'm gonna write it down. That's what I'm gonna do. Ride with the Devil. I wrote it down. Okay, I'm gonna check it out, man. John, thank you for all the content, man. Been watching you since I was 9 and I'm in college now. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for watching. I tried. I did. It's been a long ride, but hey, I'm not going anywhere, so stick around. Thanks for that, man. Good luck in college. Whatever you do, do not get a fine arts degree, okay? The next one comes from MKF30. Would you do a tier list live one day with horror films? Yeah, I've seen those tier lists. I would like to do something like that. That to me looks fun. Like just do it live and show you guys the screen capture, dragging the movies where I want them to on the tier. That's not something I'm opposed to. So I could do that. Maybe I'll do it next time. I'll see what I can do. I much prefer to almost do videos live these days. I really do. I feel like I'm just quicker on my feet when I'm live. And sometimes when I pre-record videos, I overthink it. And then I start neutering myself ever so slightly. And I don't like that. So when I'm live, I'm just live. Like I could get canceled anytime, but here I am just going with it. That's what I like. I need it. I need that adrenaline spike. All right. The next one comes from Panic Nation. Hey, John. Hope you're doing well. Favorite scene in Pulp Fiction. Rewatched it last night, and I just have too many to pick from. Dude, name a scene in Pulp Fiction that isn't good or memorable or rewatchable. And the thing is, every scene in that film is just that. And that's when you know it's a near perfect film. Like I'm hard pressed to pick a scene that's not good. Now, the one scene, and if you guys have watched me for a while now, and by the way, 250 of you are watching right now, so thanks. The one scene, like, upon rewatch, that it's just kind of like if I'm eating, I don't want to look at it, is the pawn shop Gimp scene down in the basement. Like, it's a cool scene. It's really bizarre and off-putting, so I guess that's why I like it. But at the same time, upon rewatch, I'm just like, I can't look at that. I need to, let's just, skim past that one for a few minutes and get back to something else. But Vincent and Jules in that movie, Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, any scene with them talking, you know what? One of the best scenes in that movie might be when they go to Quentin Tarantino, whatever his character's name is, after they just shot what's-his-face in the face, and they have to wash up. That might be one of my favorite scenes in that movie. Maybe, possibly. All right, the next one. You just got to understand the severity of the situation, Vincent. All right, the next one comes from Marco Carmona. How's it going, Marco? From any fictional character in any movie, who would you like to have a drink with? And who would you see a movie with? Who would I like to have a drink with, man? I don't know. Stallone would be really interesting because I like the man as I think he's like a good writer, actor, director. Not all of his movies, but he's just a really profound type of guy who's just interesting to me, and he's had such a weird, bizarre life, and he's kind of done it and seen it all. Also, Arnold would be another person I'd like to have a drink with, or in Arnold's case, a cigar. Or, just listening to Nick Cage as we ate chicken wings would be fun. I don't know. Why do we have to eat chicken wings? I don't know. But that's what I would like to do. So those are a few actors I would be intrigued to just sit down and listen to and hear them tell stories. I could do that for hours on end. And who would I like to see a movie with? I don't know. You're kind of just watching a movie with somebody. So I don't know. How in depth is this going to be? I don't know. The have a drink with is the more intriguing part of that question, I would say. I'll watch a movie of Tom Cruise. Gilliam LaBelle says, "Hey John, just rewatched Creed and I forgot how great it is. Stallone was robbed of his Best Supporting Actor nomination. Can't wait for 3. Even though Stallone won't be in it and probably will never have another part of a Rocky movie again." Yeah, I like the first Creed quite a bit. That was better than it should have been, honestly. And it was a good movie. I have not seen Creed 3. I was supposed to go to a press screening last week, but they didn't let me know I could go until 2 hours before it started. And I couldn't make a 2 hour and 40-minute drive with 2 hours notice. So I didn't get to see it. I wish I would have. But I'll check it out next week if I don't keel over from the COVID. But yeah, Creed 2 though was, I have not rewatched that since it's come out. Sort of a waste if you ask me. Cauley Wally says, I just rewatched Rocky for the first time tonight, and whoa, that was fantastic. My favorite scene is probably Rocky and Mickey in the apartment. Oh yeah, man. Anything with Mickey in those movies, it's just like, how do you recreate something like that with someone like the actor that played Mickey? I forget his name. It's escaping me. But one of my favorite things with Mickey was, and I always had a friend, and we always said this to each other, get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves ya. Like, we always did that. Fucking Mickey, what a great character. Gosh. That's what the new Creed movies need. They need like a new version of Mickey. Yeah, Marvin was his name. You shot Marvin in the face. Well, I didn't mean to. You went over a bump and the gun just went off. The next one comes from Will H. John, streaming sucks. Physical media will always be better. What's the most you've ever spent on a special Blu-ray or 4K movie? Not much. I've always had this weird rule where I would never like spend over like $30 on a movie. Like, so whenever like a movie's out of print or something like that, I just don't get it unless I can somehow magically find it somewhere. And really, for many years, that was the reason I would go to pawn shops like 3 times a week looking for physical media to build my collection, because at those places, they didn't look at every single individual movie and say, oh, this is out of print. Let's charge what it costs on eBay. No, they just took all their DVDs and Blu-rays and said, oh, this is $2, this is $5, put it on the shelf. And sometimes you'd find a gem hiding amongst all those other shitty movies. Like, I was trying to think of a terrible movie like Skyline or something like that. But yeah, or Triple X or whatever. But yeah, so really I don't go out of my way to buy expensive Blu-ray movies or like hard to find movies that only are released in the UK. Not to say I wouldn't want some of them. It's like hard to justify spending that much on some of them. Andy Sanchez says, I love you, John. Thank you for the live stream. Well, Andy, I love you too. Thank you for watching, man, because I'm not shit without you watching this shit. So thank you for watching this shit. All right. Thanks, man. Ichiobo says, when do you think is a good time to have kids? The plan is in about 2 years. Is the thought terrifying to me? Yes. Am I afraid to give up my childhood-like sensibilities to take care of something for the rest of its life and the rest of my life? Does that terrify me deep down inside? Absolutely. So yeah, it's a couple years away, but man, it's scary. I know it's like part of life and I have to get there at some point. But I am taking my sweet time because there's no undo button, right? You got to go for it. You got to push play, and that's a long fucking movie to watch, right? So it better be a good one. You hope it is. And so I'm just waiting. I'm savoring the flavor, as I like to say, to push the play button on that thing. So I hope that was a fulfilling answer for you. I seen something in here about loving John's muscles. Whatever that was, I'll take it. Thank you. Gilliam says, I liked Creed 2, but I haven't seen it in theaters, or haven't seen it since theaters. Yeah, it was Drago. I was hoping they would do more with the character or in the movie, and it just really was underwhelming, and I wanted more from that. And Gilliam LaBelle has become a member. Yay! Go over to the community tab right now and submit some questions, man, for the podcast. All right, the next one comes from Mopey. And by the way, guys, I'm about 12 minutes behind on your questions, so I'm catching up. I'm going. Don't worry. It's okay. Keep them coming. I'm going to get to them. Mopey says, I'm howling. That's not the answer I wanted, but the one I needed. P.S. Have you seen Hell House, LLC? I watched it last night, and it was very, very happy. Hell House. Let's see Hell House. I don't know, man. That sounds like a lot of other, like, straight-to-DVD horror films. It came out in 2015, 5 years after a 15-year people during a haunted house tour. So it's a haunted house tour that went wrong. It looks... I don't know, man. It was good. It sort of looks like a Walmart $5 bin movie. I mean, I'm seeing some creepy clowns and shit. Maybe it's a surprise movie. I'll check. I'll look into it, man. I'll at least check it out or look into the trailer. You say it's good, I'll believe you. All right, hang on. Okay, I was scared the quality wasn't good. And by the way, guys, if I look like I'm on crack right now, um, I'm not. I'm really tired, and I think I'm getting a fever as I talk. All right, might have to unzip this. There we go. All right, the next one comes from. You guys are killing it. Let me try to go quicker. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, do you believe in UFOs, and did Roswell really have aliens and crashed saucers? Do you think aliens live among us? Do you like Hardee's? Well, let's answer the most important part of that question. Do I like Hardee's? I can't say I've been to Hardee's more than once in my life. So I'm not opposed to it. I just don't ever go out of my way to eat it. But for the second part of your question, yeah, do I believe in aliens? Yes. Statistically speaking, do I believe there's an alien life form in the universe somewhere that are possibly superior to us in technology and intellect? Yes, I do. Do I think there's maybe millions of other life forms in the universe who are just starting a civilization who might be us when we were Neanderthals, for example? Yeah, I do. But, I think it's few and far between. And I think even if there was a civilization of aliens that had advanced technology compared to what we have, they are going to be so far that in between us and them, there's probably 10 other Earths that they could go to and stop at. And it gets to a point, well, why keep going? For what? To come to us? Why go light years to come to Earth? Unless you have the technology and you need the resources and you can get here, why go out of your way to come here? We're just a big giant spinning rock with apes that have somehow got lucky enough to advance into human beings. What do? We watch TikTok videos and we shop at Walmart. What the fuck would you come here for? like they probably look at us like we're bacteria. As far as Area 51 goes, I think there is something to be said about reverse engineering technology. And I feel like in the last 50 years, if you look at the advancement in technology and how rapidly it's advanced, it almost doesn't make sense. Where you go from the 1950s to now, the evolution and strides we've made. So I feel like, how do I say this? I think there's some shit we don't know about, yeah. Do I think like alien saucers crash landed on Earth? I don't know about that, but there's something that they know. I think they're reverse engineering something. That's my conspiracy theory on it. I think they had to look into what could be and saw that and then reverse engineered what they had. So I don't know. I also have a weird theory on all technology. I truly believe that everything is suppressed a decade behind of where it really is. And I'll explain what I'm talking about before we go to the next question, because I just like to get this weird shit out late at night. If you look at, I'll give you like something I think we can all relate to and agree with. Let's look at technology of televisions. I truly believe something like OLED technology existed 15, 20 years ago. And in a weird way, actually, OLED technology did. If you look at plasma screen technology, that technology existed in the 1960s. But when you have new technology and you come out with it, unless you put it out into society and you capitalize on it as long as you possibly can. So if you come out with an LCD TV, right, even though you have the next 10 steps in evolution of what a TV can be, because I truly believe in a warehouse somewhere, they have something in a box that you can just throw against your wall and you have a 200-inch 8K TV instantaneously. I think that technology is out there somewhere, but why put it out, right? Why not just keep LCDs in the market to where you can say, okay, I'm going to sell these for the next 20 years, get as much money as I can from this technology and milk it dry. Then we'll come out with the next version of technology that we've had sitting on a shelf in this back warehouse for the last 20 years. So that's how I feel about technology. I just feel like everything's sandbagged. And truly, we're like 20 years more advanced than we are, but society's just not ready for that yet. That's my weird conspiracy theory. I'm going to continue on. John, I want my hug. I'm going to give it to you, just not when you want it. Oh, no, I can't say that. Can't say that in 2023, but I'm going to give it to you. All right. The next one, sorry about that. Let's just keep going. Anton Xander says, hello from New Zealand. What film do you want to win Best Picture this year at the Oscar? Love your channel. If I had to pick one off the top of my head, something, I mean, they're clearly not going to give something like that to the Batman or Top Gun. I think The Whale would be a quality choice, or at least best performance. I mean, it has to go best performance. But as far as best movie of the year, I don't know, maybe The Whale? I mean, that's a great question for you guys. And I would like you guys to chime in over here in the normal chat. What do you think should win Best Picture of the year? Let me know. I'll read some of the comments. And thanks for the question, man. Claudia Rogajan says, you know the whole Bruce Willis Golden Watch story was written entirely by Tarantino's co-writer, Roger Avery. People forget he had a co-writer. Did he? I guess I forgot he had a co-writer in Pulp Fiction too. I mean, yeah. I mean, if he wanted to fill in some of the gaps with some good stuff, that's fine by me. But you got to give most of the credit to Tarantino. He laid the foundation. The Whale deserves Best Picture. Flick, do you even lift, bro? I've lifted one time in the last month. I would like to go back. I just have not felt good for the last week. Last time I went, I had a great pump. I'm telling you guys this. If you think I don't lift as much as I used to, it's true, I don't. But I'm telling you, next time, if I go to the gym and record it and I get a pump, it looks like I never stopped. All right. The Whale isn't even nominated. Well, fuck the Oscars then. Then it should have been. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't watch Oscars. I don't care. It's a group of people who fucking voted on it. No one cares. Like, oh, these 37 people voted on these movies, even though they only saw half of them. Why are we coveting their opinions? Like, you're looking weak as hell, brother. You know I'm coming down with COVID. You do know that, right? The next one comes from Will H. John, have you seen Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood? Many of times. I've seen that movie probably 10 times. I always loved it as a kid. I love when they have to make the paper mache dummies and escape, and it just, I love stories like that. And the biggest question is, did they get away? In my opinion, I think at least a few of them did. Shut Up Cat Production says, for $20, I always give you. You better show us some nip. Listen, I'll do what it takes to make a buck, but I'm not going to sell my body. Let's go to let's go to the next question. Oh God! All right, let's go to the next question. I'm not a piece of meat. You can't own me. The next question comes from Rod Thunderheart. That is a great name. Hail, John. I used to be a pro wrestler, hence the name, sir. Always loved your reviews. Please give a review of Adjustment Bureau. May I send you my book, sir? Did you write a book? Is that what you're referring to? I don't know when I'd read it, man. When I open up a P.O. box, feel free to send me your book, man. Please. When I open up a P.O. box, so I have somewhere to send all this stuff. Adjustment Bureau, I watched that once. I know some people like it. I did not get into that. And that's one of those movies I sort of just forgot that existed. Someone said The Fabelmans for Best Picture. Yeah, man, I was hard to get through that movie. It was a mess. That was there were some cool, interesting things, and I'm glad Spielberg got to make the movie he wanted to make. But what a narrative mess of a movie. All right, the next one comes from Matt Lundowski says, have you seen X and Pearl? Excited for Maxine? I did see X. It was interesting. The old people thing. I was like, okay, I get where you're going, but this is really it. It's just two old people that want to bang and murder people. Okay. Pearl, I did not watch, and Maxine, I haven't kept up with. I have no clue about it. But my thing with X is I wish that director would direct like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I feel like he was made to do something like that. But I haven't seen Pearl. Rod Thunderheart has become a member. Thanks, Rod Thunderheart. That could either be a pro wrestler name or a porn star name, but either one, I like it. The next one comes from Stephanie Myers. How's it going, Stephanie? Thanks for the very generous super chat. Hey, John. I'm too tired to think, you and me both, but here I am on camera trying to be witty, but it's draining quickly. I'm going to donate my chat to a commenter. Zach Cashman asked, hey, John, what is your opinion on David Lynch? I don't recall you mentioning his films. I love me some David Lynch. Not only have I mentioned his films throughout the years, I have mentioned his films in this live stream earlier on. I love him. Oh, no. I'm sorry. My brain is melting right now. Okay. I was talking about David Fincher earlier. So David Lynch. All right. So I know a lot of people love Twin Peaks. I never watched it. Mulholland Drive I did watch probably for the first time a couple years ago. The thing about it was maybe I should have watched it sooner, and maybe that ending would have been more impactful than it was. But after waiting 20 years to watch it, it's sort of like, oh, that's the twist. Okay, that's sort of like the cliche twist of what you don't do in movies nowadays. Blue Velvet is something I've been meaning to watch for a long time. I've said that many times on live streams. At some point, I will get around to it. What else does he have here? The Elephant Man I have seen. I enjoy it. One of the most depressing movies ever. So yeah, I haven't seen a lot of David Lynch movies, but the few I have, I enjoyed. The one I have that I want to see, my friend Jason used to tell me to watch this years and years ago, was The Straight Story. It's about a guy who rides a lawnmower, I believe, across the country, and that's something I would like to watch. For some reason, that sounds fascinating. So where's that playing? Can I watch that somewhere? It's on YouTube for $3.99. Sold. All right. So yeah, those are my thoughts on David Lynch. I hope that was slightly fulfilling, but thank you for the question, nevertheless, and the very generous super chat. So thank you. Yeah, Blue Velvet. I've said it in multiple live streams. I have been meaning to watch that for like years, and it's one of those movies you got to be in the right mood to get into it. So at some point, I'm going to watch it. 1980s Dune, I hate. I hate the 1980s Dune movie. And I'll tell you this. I have tried to watch that movie probably 5 times. Because I think to myself, okay, I probably would like that movie. That looks really interesting and very 80s. And then every time I get like 30 minutes into it, I'm like, this is fucking terrible. I can't finish it. So if you like it, I'm sorry to offend you. I do not. Straight Story is very awesome. Yeah, I kind of want a chill movie tonight. Maybe I'll watch it after this. I need something new. Where are we at? Okay, wow. I'm 10 minutes behind in the questions. Marco Carmona says, what are a few movies or TV moments that have made you laugh out loud like Patrick Bateman? There's so many, man. There's so many moments in TV shows. I like abrasive, crazy, over-the-top moments in TV shows. I remember like watching Breaking Bad when he threw the pizza on top of the roof. I liked that. Moments like that. I'm trying to think of like, and it's sad I can't think of any in a movie right now because I know there's millions. If I could just like turn off the camera and think about it for 10 minutes without a bright light in my face. But man, I hate that I can't answer your question more fulfillingly. I'll think on it and then get back to it in a second, man. Bo Cylinder says, I haven't watched The Batman or The Matrix. Which one is the best? It really depends. That's a good debatable question. For me, I much prefer The Batman. I like The Matrix, but it's not one of those movies I go back upon and rewatch over and over again. Something about looking at the very green color grading of it and knowing where the franchise eventually goes is sort of depressing to me. So I know it's kind of coveted as one of the best action movies ever made, but man, I kind of enjoy the Batman a little bit more, even though I don't. Both of them, I have flaws. They're flawed movies, both of them for me, but I don't know. I think many people would probably say The Matrix is the superior movie, but if I had to pick a movie to rewatch eating pizza, you know what, fuck it, I might go with The Matrix. I don't know. That's a great question. I could flip a coin on that. I think The Matrix will live on in cinematic history as the better groundbreaking film. King Chaos says, would you ever consider game streaming, for example? I'd love to see your reaction to The Last of Us game compared to the show. I don't think I'd ever get into game streaming. I like games, but I'm not really a gamer anymore, and I really never was, to be honest with you. There's always been a few games I enjoyed playing, like Call of Duty and multiplayer games, but streaming like an entire game for 15 hours and like trying to be entertaining and playing it, I don't think I have it in me. That's sort of like watching a movie and streaming yourself watching the movie. It's like hard to get immersed into it. So that's one of those things I just don't do. The next one comes from, you know what? I'll tell you a movie, going back to Marco's question earlier. I have a suggestion, and you don't even have to watch the movie. Just watch the trailer for, it's a Gary Busey movie called Hider in the House. Go watch it on YouTube. It's called Hider in the House, where Gary Busey lives in this suburban couple's home. He hides in the attic and builds a room up there because he had such a traumatized childhood that he's so desperate to have like a family. It's crazy. Watch that movie. There's some laugh out loud moments in that movie for all the wrong reasons. All right. Human internet. Do I have a bot in the chat or something? What's in the chat? A shark or something? I don't know. Shut Up Cat Production says, if you die tonight, can I still have all your stuff? Rest in peace. Apps, come and get it, man. It's all yours. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Night King 01 says, did you know Arnold has a newsletter and sends a motivational letter to you every day? His Instagram is gold too. I follow Arnold on Instagram now and forever. I did not know he had a personal newsletter. That is intriguing. I wonder if he actually writes it. Does he? I don't know. Marco Carmona, I can't say your last name. Marco Carmona says, do you think that goofy spoof of unapologetic movies would do great on a cheaper budget and go directly to streaming? Yes. For example, I did a review of Cocaine Bear tonight. If that was Netflix, if that was a Netflix movie, that shit would blow up. You would see 8 million memes about it right now. It would be the #1 movie on Netflix for like the next 3 days. And it would be huge. It would do well for Netflix. That movie's made for like Netflix people, or at least people who like look forward to most Netflix movies. And don't take that as like a slam on you or words of slander. That's not what I mean by it. It just, I feel like most people who look forward to Netflix movies like easy and consumable content. And I think Cocaine Bear would like do well for like a younger demographic of people. So I like, that's the type of movie personally for me, I think was made to be a Netflix movie, but somehow it's theatrically released. So, and that's the type of movies Netflix should make more of. I think they would do very, very well. Someone said, hi, Daddy John. Well, hi, Keenan. How's it going? All right. The next one comes from Claudia Rogajan. Meant to say the whole Golden Watch segment was written by Roger Avery, pawn shop stuff, and everything. That whole 20 minutes was all him. He wrote the whole 20-minute segment of Pulp Fiction? Wow, he was just going for it, man. He was just like, you know what it was? I bet Roger Avery read Quentin Tarantino's version of Pulp Fiction, and he's like, listen, I'm going to just top this shit. I'm going to come up with the most outrageous shit that tops Tarantino's crazy shit, and that's what he came up with. So in all fairness to him, he did a good job. But when you already have that foundation to build upon, it's almost easier in a way. But hey, I give credit to him. Robin J. Yang says, hey, John, I don't know if you remember my username was Robin Jin. I haven't asked a question in a long time, but I always watch the stream and love it. Thanks for all you do. My question is, how did a 5'8" man become Batman? Well, that's the power of cinema and Michael Keaton. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Hey, I got an extra 4 inches. That sounded weird. That sounded really fucking weird. You know the crazy thing about Michael Keaton as Batman, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but when it was announced Keaton was Batman, there was outrage. There were threats against Warner Brothers. There were thousands of letters that were sent in from people who were very angry that Michael Keaton was going to be the new Batman. And in today's age, or in modern day times in cinema, the same shit keeps happening. You know, whenever you cast someone to be this iconic character to portray this role, there's always outrage somewhere, somehow. And sometimes it's justified, other times it's not. I mean, the same thing can be said about when Ben Affleck was cast as Batman. But the thing is, when you're watching the 89 Batman movie, looking at Michael Keaton, who is in fact 5'8", you never once think, this dude's only 5'8". No, you just see Batman. And you got to give credit to the directors and cinematographers and costume designers in the movie who put some heels in his boots, those Nike boots he was wearing in the 89 movie. But yeah, man, it's crazy, isn't it? You know who else is really short in Hollywood? Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. That dude's not very tall. I think he's like 5'8" as well. And he wears like lifts in all of his shoes. Look on Google. You can see some close-ups of like some generic sneakers he's wearing. And the heel is like this. It looks like stilettos or something. It's like this long or high. I don't know, man. All right. But thanks for the question, man. Thank you so much, Robin. And I vaguely remember your name. But then again, there's a lot of names that pop up in here. But keep coming back, man. Please. Rod Thunderheart, back again. I have wrote a book, See Through Love, about an invisible woman who falls in love with a new gym teacher who can see her thumbs. He's blind. 6 genres mix. What? I don't know if you're kidding right now, but this sounds phenomenal. He can only see her thumbs? I love it. Tell me more, please. Shut Up Cat Production says, punch a baby and no one knows, don't but peeps think you did. So what the fuck is, punch a baby? So wait, you're saying I don't punch a baby, but everyone thinks I did? That's just as bad as doing it. Oh, I see. I have to punch a baby, but no one knows. But the other option is everyone thinks I did. I don't know. For a guy who makes YouTube videos, it's pretty easy to get canceled nowadays. So I think I'm going to have to punch that baby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't hit it hard, I promise. I won't. I'll do an open hand slap. But if everyone thinks I punched a baby, I'm done. I'm done. That's worse. And that's the society that we live in. I want everyone to think about that. That's a sick question, man, but a great one. These are the questions we get at 1:30 in the morning. Will H says, John, I've liked Escape from Alcatraz since I was a kid too, man. Me too. I liked weird movies like that as a kid. I always liked adult-oriented films as a child. Anyway, I'm convinced they made it to shore too. The FBI wants to say they drowned to save the embarrassment. Yeah, I'm sorry. If I was escaping from a lifetime of imprisonment and all I had to do was swim across this San Francisco Bay, which is like 1.5 miles wide, and I understand there's currents, I'll just float on my back and somehow get to the other side somehow, some way. I'm just saying, I think I could do it, especially if I had a life raft. Like, I'm pretty sure I could do it. I don't want to try, but I think I could if my life depended on it. Are you lonely? No, I live with my girlfriend. She's like 15 feet that way. Not at all, man. Rod Thunderheart says, yes, at 52, still doing the splits in profile, sir. That's amazing shit. I envy you. I salute you. Night King 01 says, John, David Lynch hates the Dune movie. Also, Straight Story is on Disney Plus. It's pretty relaxing too. Straight Story's on Disney Plus? I didn't think it was a Disney, or I didn't think it was really. Straight Stories on Disney Plus. Okay, good. I will go watch it after this live show. Dylan Inks says, what happened to Crazy Jason? It's been a long time. Man, I don't know. He disappeared off the face of the planet. He's done this like 4 times. This is the longest stint he's ever done, and they don't call him Crazy Jason for nothing. I don't know, man. I've reached out a few times over the years. He responded back once. There's no ill will between us. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I really don't, man. He was a good buddy. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I'm sure he's doing fine, but I couldn't tell you much more than that. It makes me sad to think about it. It really does. Shut Up Cat Production says, can you go live without mentioning Batman $100? I don't mention it. You guys mention it. But I can go, if you put $100 super chat in there right now, I won't mention it the rest of the live stream no matter what. How's that? All right? You don't have to do that. Don't do that. James Wilkins says, thoughts on Banshees of Inisherin. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet, man. I just haven't. I've heard good stuff. I just have not got around to watching it, and I have not been in the mood to watch a movie like that. Take that how you will. Isaac Beebe says, hey, John, I hope you remember me from our Skype chat a few years back. I do remember you, Isaac. How's it going, man? I really enjoyed meeting you that day. Owe you 50% that Mario is the highest grossing box office movie of 2023. Over under. Abbreviations don't work in my brain this late at night. I think Mario could do well at the box office. I think it's going to have a huge China release, and I could see that doing well, especially in like Japan and overseas markets. I could see it doing very well. I could see it technically being the most successful video game movie ever made at the box office. Do I think it'll be the biggest movie of 2023? I'd have to look at what's coming out. I mean, possibly. That's definitely an interesting opinion, though. I could see it happening. I really could. My only holdup is Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario, but I'm trying to think what else comes out this year. I know there's a few other big blockbusters. 2022, 23. Yeah, you might be right with that. I was trying to think Avatar's 2024. It could be in there. It could be a contender. I don't know, man. But thanks for chiming in once again, Isaac, man. And I do remember that Skype call years and years ago, man. God, where does time go? Marco Carmona says, out of the past and present, it's already Batman actors. I got to mention Batman every 5 minutes. In their prime, who would win in a Batman brawl? Who would you bet on? I'm going to go with Ben Affleck. He's the biggest actual live adaptation of Batman we've had. I'm going to go with Ben Affleck. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He's got the height advantage, probably the weight advantage. But Michael Keaton, though, he seems like a ruthless dude. He's going to bite someone's ankle. I feel like, I don't know. It really depends. You loved Chris Pratt and Passengers? I fucking hated Pratt and Passengers. I hated him. When you really look at that movie and how sadistic he was as a character, he's kind of really unlikable. Like, imagine being woken up by some dude who just likes the way you look and read a profile about you and wakes you up and sort of like sentences you to death in a way. Hey, sorry to wake you up. Can we fall in love and then just like hang out for the next 60 years on this spaceship that looks like a really boring mall? Sorry. Like, what other option did she have? I don't know. Harris, I don't know what I just said. It sounded like some German stuff, but is Come and See one of the best movies ever made? Well, the fact that I haven't seen it would be hard to say so. Come and See movie. Come and See is a 2020 movie about the invasion of a village in Barcelona, Russia, by German forces. I have not seen this, man. It's got an 8.4 on IMDb. Looks cool. Let's check out the trailer. Okay, there's a trailer about something there. It's shot in 4:3 aspect ratio. Oh man, that looks like brutal shit happening. Okay. Definitely a very art house looking movie. I just saw a cow get shot. Okay, man, that looks terrifying. That looks like a nightmare I'm going to have tonight when I have a fever dream. So I'm intrigued by it. I have not seen it, though. Thank you for telling me that it existed, though. Has anyone seen that? Let me know. All right, 5 minutes behind on the chats here. Collie Wally says, the closest thing that I've ever saw to a Rocky movie before tonight was Grudge Match. My quick review, I liked the heart, hated the heart. Fair enough. Grudge Match to me was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I think I will just sum it up there. If I remember correctly, I think I talked about the movie in a Flick Trip or Blu-ray collection update video. So I'd have to Google search on YouTube. I'd have to type in Grudge Match Flick Pick to see what brought up. But I know I've talked about that when they sent me the Blu-ray. And I don't remember liking it all that much. I forgot that movie existed. Yeah, you're better than that. Just go watch all of the Rocky movies, okay? Then go watch Raging Bull. And then you'll get a good mix of what boxing cinema can be. Go watch Southpaw starring Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, that's better. Isaac Beebe says, are you enjoying The Last of Us HBO series? I did talk about that earlier. I am. It's my go-to series. I'm so grateful that it exists. It's like a religious experience I do every Sunday night, except when it was on Friday night, Super Bowl weekend. But man, the episodes, in my opinion, are getting better and better. And I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm sure some people who played the game already know, but I do not. And then guess what? Guess what we get next week? Mando, baby. If he didn't have enough Pedro Pascal, just wait because he's coming back with more. So I love it. Rod Thunderheart back again. Sorry, brother. The gym teacher can only see her when she is invisible. No thumbs, stupid voice chat. Okay, that makes more sense. It will be a series. Much appreciated your reviews. Okay, the gym teacher can only see her when she's... Okay, now I get it. Okay, that makes more sense. That sounds better. But the other idea sounded kind of odd, too. I kind of liked it almost. Shut Up Cat Production says, I once peed on my friend's floor and blamed his dog. I once peed... Okay, let me preface this. And by the way, I have 296 of you beautiful people in here. Thank you for that. Let me tell you a story about the time I peed my pants in my friend's bed. Going back to 1993, I was staying over at a friend's house, and I think I was just having a weird dream because I've never had issues with wetting the bed ever in my life. And I remember just having a weird dream about swimming or something, and I was like, I really had to pee. And it was like an alien environment over at my friend's house. I had never stayed there before. And I woke up and everything I was wearing was really warm and wet because I pissed myself. And I didn't know what to do. I went into a panic. So what did I do? I snuck around in his room. I took off my pants and then I slid them under his bed. And then I took a pair of his underwear out of his dresser and put those on and just pretended like it never happened. And I don't know if his mother found those piss-covered shorts under his bed at some point, or if it made his room smell like urine for days to come. I don't know. And I would like to, though. So anyway, what was the question? Oh yeah, peeing your pants. Yeah, man. Peeing your pants is cool. Isaac Beebe says, thoughts on this year's SAG winners and predictions for this year's Oscar winners. At this point, I can't even predict the Oscars. Maybe I could, but I don't care enough to do so. I don't know who's even nominated, what's nominated. I said earlier I would love to see The Whale win, or at least best performance, but the fact that it's not even been nominated is sort of makes me lose faith in it. Mando is an hour, John. Wait, does Mando come out in an hour? Is it out now? Is Mandalorian coming out today? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Mando comes out today. Yes. Okay, well, I said this week. I'm sorry. How dare I make a fucking mistake? Let me punish myself. That's good to know. Maybe, hey, you know what? I'm going to go watch that. Actually, I think the lady friend wants to watch it too, so maybe I'll wait. All right, the next one comes from, it's getting late, guys. I was planning on doing this live stream for like an hour, and here we are, 2 hours in. All right, let's keep going. Sleep is for the weak and innocent. InHomes25 says, John, does your lady know that the two movie characters that you identify with most are sick and twisted sociopaths, Bateman and Bloom? Well, that's one opinion. But I think society sees them as outstanding citizens who really care about their craft and care about what they do. Also, they're quick-witted, well put together. They're clear and precise. Not like I'm right now because I feel like I can't talk anymore. I'm just getting to that point. But yes, she knows I relate to them. Let me explain why I like Louis Bloom and Patrick Bateman so much, all right? Here's why I identify with those characters. On the spectrum of who I am and what I am as a person, they're at both extremes of the spectrum of what I am, right? I'm not at their level. They're at the extreme version of what I could be. I'm not there, but I'm down here. I'm a little bit more level-headed. I'm not completely psychopathic, no, but I'm somewhere in that spectrum. So them as characters, I relate to them because in one extreme or another, I identify. I could see that being the extreme version of myself one way, but I'm not. So there you go. But I also see myself as Batman, so take that how you will. OE Review says, thoughts on 65, can't wait to watch it this month. It looks like a good rainy day movie to go to the cinema. Like you have dinosaurs, you have time travel, you have Adam Driver being Adam Driver. It looks entertaining to me, man. I'm hoping that the ending, the twist or whatever it is fulfilling. I hope it doesn't just feel like an episode of like Black Mirror or something. Shut Up Cat Production says, saw Banshees of Ed Sheeran. Not for me, but it'll win. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. That's what I'm hearing, but I'll have to get around to watching it at some point. Plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. Yes, the autism spectrum? No. It's just the spectrum of personality traits. I don't comprehend the questions or comments. All right, the next one comes from J-Man says, "Hey, hello, John. How do you go about tracking movies you've seen?" I don't. To be honest with you, I sort of forget most of the movies I've watched over the last week. I would have to sit there and contemplate every movie it would take me 10 hours to figure out the movies I've watched over the last week. I just forget. Really, the best way to track them is I just talk about them on live streams or I put out a review. That is how I keep track. I would like to bring back the last 5 flicks I've watched, but to be honest with you, I just can't remember right now the last 5 movies I watched. I watch a lot of random movies. I watch a lot of movies that I've seen a million times over and over again. Also, how do you remember which movies you want to own in your collection? I had a small list of movies mentally, and I actually this week I found 2 of them to add to my 4K collection. So look out for the new Flick Trip video. Big Dick Gang says, do you think Aunt May knew Toby's Peter was Spidey? Yes. Oh, sorry. I think she had no, by the 3rd movie, didn't she sort of all but know? Didn't she have wasn't it sort of like the unspoken thing? If I'm remembering correctly, I thought she kind of had a vague theory on it. It didn't need to be said. Or maybe I'm completely making that up. That's what I like to think. Marco says, what few movies have made you cry? There's been a few. There's been a few movies. I remember the I forgot the name of it. What was the not the Troll movie by Disney a few years ago? Not Trolls. Chris Pratt did the voice of the older brother, where their dad dies, and by the end of the movie, he gets to see him one last time. What was the name of that Pixar movie no one watched? That sort of almost brought a tear to my eye. Movies like Stand By Me sort of always made me think about life. Though that never made me cry. Really, the movies that make me cry I've sort of suppressed deep down inside. Deep down inside. Usually it's movies about like characters who lose someone tragically. Always hit home with me because I relate to it. Onward. Yeah, that's the name of the movie. But yeah, the one movie that always makes me cry is T2 Judgment Day. And I'm sort of joking with you, but in a weird way, it's sort of like when the T-800 is lowered down to that melting steel and his thumb goes up. Listen, every man cries during that movie. And you have to ask yourself, like Arnold does, why do you cry? You know, that's the question. That's my Arnold impression at 2 o'clock in the morning. I hope you enjoyed that. Why? Rod Thunderheart. Hail, you must see 3 Days in Havana, Canadian movie. I've heard of it, never watched it, man. Night King 01 says, John, it says 2020, but it's a restoration of the 1985 Soviet war film. The film is terrifying, one of the most brutal World War II movies. That makes more sense that you're saying that. Okay, so it was a 2020 restoration. I was looking at it, and to me, okay, that makes sense because I was thinking they did a really good job of making this look like an 80s movie because some of the shots from that film that German film we're talking about from 85, that was a question earlier, it almost had like a Mad Max look to it, like a bizarre 80s art house look to it. Like some of the shots look like Mad Max Road Warrior to me. Like ever so slightly had like that look to it. So, okay, thank you for clarifying that. Shut Up Cat Production says, review my super chats tonight and go. Be honest, you son of a bitch. You had some good ones in there. Some questions I've answered before. I liked the P question most. You didn't follow through on the Batman super chat about not mentioning it though, but that's okay. Clark Ingleton says, would you ever do a live show on a gummy? It couldn't be longer than 45 minutes because it gets to a point where I can't read anymore. But I do have I'll tell you this about gummies and watching films. Whenever I take an edible, a gummy, a mind-opening experience occurs. And sometimes I watch movies like it's the first time I've ever watched it, or at least I watch it from a completely different perspective than I've ever had before. Let me turn off this light because it's really bright. Whenever I take an edible and I watch a film like Forrest Gump, it's like I'm watching it with new eyeballs for the first time, and it's like an awakening of sorts, and I enjoy it. It's like watching some of your favorite movies for the first time again, and so I recommend it. Am I telling you guys to do drugs? Maybe I am. I don't know, but don't hold me accountable. So yes, could I do a live stream? I don't know. I don't know if I could be entertaining and informative for 2 hours, let alone witty, and I don't think I could read. But it does open up your mind a little bit to have different thoughts. It just makes you think slightly different than you ever have before. And I'll tell you this, it either makes comedy movies look like drama movies to me, or it makes dramas look like comedy movies to me. It's a weird, terrifying experience, and you never know what you're going to get. Much like in Forrest Gump, life's like a box of hallucinogens. You never know what you're going to get when you watch that movie. All right. Oh, Bo, you little bitch, you. Let me... all right. All right, the next one comes from... And by the way, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live show in like 1 minute. This one comes from Rod Thunderheart. Have you ever seen Starling... What the fuck are you saying here? Stalingrad? It's outstanding. Stalingrad? Stalingrad, okay. What is Stalingrad? Stalingrad movie from 1993. Takes place in 1942. A small band of Russian soldiers take over a bombed out building and continues to fight the Germans. Huh, interesting. It's got a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. Interesting. You know what? I have not seen it. No, take edibles, man. Take some like Delta 8 or something. It's legal, so it's not even, you can take it anywhere. I have a question for you guys, and if you guys are, I have 285 of you watching. I'm going to wrap up this live show with a question to you guys. It's a movie that I remember seeing as a kid, and it's a group of kids who are sort of at war with each other. Like they have a small like group of kids on each side, and they're having like this battle with each other, and it's vaguely. I don't think it's not like a battle to the death, but they fight each other in the movie. And one of the groups have this like base or this hideout that's made out of snow, and they have like trap doors where they can slide down like the snowbank and get out of it. What movie is this? Or did I completely imagine this? Because I can remember watching it as a kid on like beta tape or something, and I have no clue what this is. Is it okay? Someone says War of the Roses, War of the Flies. It's not Lord of the Flies. It's definitely not Lord of the Flies, man. There's no like snow embankment in Lord of the Flies. That shit takes place on like an island. Someone said Pootie Tang. So I don't know what this movie is. That's all I remember about it. That's all I can remember about it. Was Kevin Costner in it? No, I don't think so. I know what you're referring to, and that's The War at Home, if I remember correctly, with young Elijah Woods, right? Where he gets trapped in the water tower, the one kid does. No, I don't know what it is. It's not Snow Day. It's definitely not Snow Day. It's before Snow Day. It had to have been like an 80s movie. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'll read the comments if someone chimes in. Say it again. No, just scroll back. You'll hear me. Just scroll back in the chat. Or the video. OE Review says 5 mil edibles at the right amount to relax and watch a movie. I take 20 milligrams of Delta 8 gummies, and they taste like, what's the flavor I have now? It's like Dreamsicle. It's good stuff, man. They taste like candy. All right, let me try to wrap up these I got a handful of questions left, so here we go. JT Hiskey says, predictions for Avatar 3, also trailer release for D8. Avatar 3, I'm hoping, well, I've heard that there's going to be fire people as the villains, and I'm really hoping they change up the formula that they currently have with Avatar 1 and 2 and do something a little bit different. Also, if you watched Avatar 2, clearly Avatar or Pandora is supposed to be terraformed into the new Earth at some point. So not only are they coming here to take their resources, but now they want to bring all the unwashed masses from Earth to Pandora to live because Earth is dying. And I think that ups the stakes a little bit. So I believe there's a time jump in Avatar 3 where the children are now much older. And that sounds interesting. So predictions, I would like to see like a bigger humanized colony in Avatar 3 of people from Earth living on it. Maybe like a mid-sized city. And I think if some of the story takes place there, I think that would be like a really cool balance of something different that we haven't seen before, where you sort of bring Earth to Pandora. So there's going to be like people flying cars and going to Walmarts to some small degree. But, I think that'd be like a cool location for the majority of the next movie to take place in. It's like a good mix of everything. Like imagine one of the Sully kids going to like this Earth-based small city, and there's like a 7-Eleven and they get a slushie. I know that's the stupidest fucking idea ever, but I'm just saying, like, something like that would be interesting. That's my big idea for Avatar 3. One of the Sully kids drink a slushie at 7-Eleven. And that's why I need to hurry up and wrap up this live show. Itchy Elbow says, any exercise tips on how to burn belly fat? Really, it's hard to do what's the term? Fat, something with, it's hard to focus exercising into one problem area in your body. So if you have like extra belly fat, it's hard to say, I'm going to just lose the belly fat today by doing abs. That's not how your body works, right? It doesn't just spot. What is it? Spot? There's a term for it. It's getting late. Anyway, it's hard to burn fat in a specific area of your body just by doing cardio. Your body picks and chooses the fat it wants to burn. The stubborn fat will be the last fat to go. So you really just have to burn into it, go into a caloric deficit. Now, my advice to you would be, looking fit sometimes is an optical illusion, right? So if you build muscle mass everywhere else and you have stubborn belly fat, that you can tell can burn off. If it's not saggy skin, but it is in fact fat that you feel like you can burn off, just start hitting the abs. And what that's going to do is build your ab muscles and definition down there, and maybe it'll fill it out a little bit more and even it out to look better. That would be my advice. But really, you're going to have to go into a caloric deficit to get that stubborn belly fat. Yeah, it's getting late, man. Hang on. I got to take this off. I'm getting really heated. It's getting late. I am tired. I think I'm on the verge of testing positive for COVID tomorrow. I have a slight fever. I'm a little bit, like, if you could take this shirt off and wring it out, it would be like drenched in sweat. But this is, I don't care. A fever's not going to stop me from making a live show, okay? All right, here we go. Night King 01 says, John Woo has a new movie coming out. Well, I'm looking forward to it. What is it called? Clark Ingleton says, what are some good dramas that are about real life, just people living their lives, dark dramas, or authentic ones? Are you talking about like non-fictional dramas or just movies that feel subdued and could be based in reality? I like dramas like Stand By Me. Stand By Me, for example, could be a real life story that could have happened in the 1960s. I think movies like that could exist. Another drama that could exist in reality. Something like, Oh, here's one for you. This is like an epic time period drama. I love to mention this movie any chance I get, but I feel like it could exist or could have existed in the 1800s. Watch Master and Commander. That's a drama action film time period movie. Watch that. That could totally exist. But if you want to watch something a little more subdued about someone just living their life, I know what you're looking for. You want something like Nightcrawler, right? Something a little like something like that. Oh man, it's escaping my brain. I hate, that's such a great question. I can't come up with good answers right now because it's getting late. I'm trying to, like The Whale, for example. There's a great drama that could exist totally in reality about a guy's life. Or maybe The Wrestler, another Aronofsky film about a guy's life who, it's very dramatic, but it could exist in reality. Someone said Prisoners. Yeah, I think Prisoners could totally be a real thing. And the question is, would you do what Hugh Jackman did? I think I would. Yeah, and then you have Spider-Man 2. So yeah, all realistic drama films. Clark Ingleton, no, we already answered that. Clark Ingleton comes back again and says, do live shows at this time. It's 5:30 p.m. in Australia, and I'm baked out bushmate. Well, awesome, man. When I go this late, sometimes I don't know if my brain capacity has a full charge to it, especially today, but I try to go late as I possibly can. And sometimes I feel like the later I go, some of the more interesting questions I get. I don't know. Sometimes. Not always, though. Someone said The American. Yeah, you can watch like The Shawshank Redemption. That's a movie about a sort of one guy's life story, more or less. Ordinary People. Yeah, that's another one. Master and Commander is underrated. I think Master and Commander could possibly be the most underrated movie of all time. Someone says Silent Night, John. Feel better, dude. It's definitely annoying. Yeah, man, I think I'm going to wrap up this live show, guys. I can feel a fever coming on right now. So, yeah, if you guys don't see me for the next week or two, it's because COVID kicked in and I can feel it. It's happening. Hopefully, maybe it's just in my mind. I don't know. Oh, man. I'm feeling sweaty. All right. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for the questions. Thanks for watching. And by the way, if you did miss it, go watch my cocaine review. That's how late it's getting. Go watch my Cocaine Bear review over on the Flickpick channel. I just posted it right before going live on this show. As you guys can tell, my brain is melting out of my ear right now. I'm going to go watch, is Mandalorian out right now? I'm going to go watch it if it is. And I'm going to go to sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care. And if I do, in fact, have COVID, I'll put out a tweet or something tomorrow. I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I'm going to go try not to die.